Hey folks, how's it going? Nah. I didn't ask for contributions from the peanut gallery, Evie. Oh, I haven't been feeling too well, but I'm slowly getting alive. I literally slept like 12 hours straight, which was horrible. And I just got back from the doctor. Found out that I have hearing loss in my right ear, substantial amounts of hearing loss. It's like I did one exam for my left ear, one exam for my right ear. I'm looking at the charts. Here is where my left ear is at. Here is where my right ear is at. And it's like, whoop, a huge amount of difference between my hearing. So I'm going to have to go and figure out more about that stuff. But that's what working with jet engines does to you. Jet engines melt your eardrums. Um, anyways, that's just a quick introduction about just how my week is beginning. Um, so I guess what I'm going to say, just to keep this short, is I just wanted to make a little historian's note of something that I don't really think about often, but was made a point to me, and I really just wanted to get it across to everybody else. You see, kings used to fight using total war. This is why the introduction of total war in America soil during Civil War was seen as such a huge slight by the South from the North, because total war is something that you do when you seek to conquer people, subjugate people, and make them into slaves. Um, so there's a cat named Alexander the Great. And Alexander the Great, he was a child of Aristotle, basically. Mentally, he studied under the greatest philosophical thinkers, and he should be considered the fourth great thinker of the line of thinking, starting from, you start with Plato, then you move to Socrates, then you move to Aristotle, Alexander the Great. They all are philosophers. And that's the thing that most people don't realize, is that if you want to follow the train of thought as to who and where the logic of Aristotle ends, Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great was the Machiavelli of that time. And he took what Aristotle had given him and he utilized that in order to really conquer the known world. The only place he didn't conquer was East Asia, um, and Southeast Asia, India, and the farthest reaches of China. But Alexander the Great had conquered so much. And the common way that he would conquer, and this is actually really funny because there's a funny side story of how his interaction with the Israelites went. But the gist of how he goes in there is he'd go up to a city, say, surrender. If they don't surrender to his terms, to his conditions, to his trading, and his harboring of his soldiers, he would destroy them. Wash, rinse, repeat, and he would do it in pure sight of all the neighboring city-states. And these city-states would be basically bullied into submission by seeing that any state that went against him would be destroyed. Now, I think this is important. What he did was he used the threat of force to amplify the difference between these city-states in order to conquer each of them by getting them to personally isolate themselves from supporting a neighboring state. Case in point, if we were to take this into a group situation, let's say you have 5 individuals and a bully comes into the group. Now he selects one person on the outside of this group, 1 out of the 5. The other 4 are fine. They get to watch. But one person gets the absolute crap kicked out of them. And the bully says, let's say the interaction starts off, give me your lunch money. No, I'm not giving you my lunch money. Bop, bop, bibbity bop. Beat the holy living hell out of the guy. Well, now I got your lunch money. Oh, and I have 2 guys behind me. So you 4 guys over there. You, give me your lunch money. Well, you know, can I run? No, my back's against the wall. Are these other 3 guys gonna help me? Maybe. They didn't seem to help the last time with the last guy, and I don't know if I'm really have much time to try to talk to them, try to see if I can get some help. I don't know if they're gonna back me. Oh, here's my lunch money. Oh, good. Thank you for giving me my lunch money. You're free to go now. Oh, but not you three. You. Give me your lunch money. Wash, rinse, repeat. That is how Alexander the Great conquered the known world. And see, the Bible actually predicts the leopard with four wings. That is usually seen in, I believe, the Book of Daniel to be Alexander the Great. His rise to power being swift. But what I think is more, and I'll get to the side story of what happens when he gets to Israel later. But what I want you guys to know is that ruthless model of conquering works. And that's why I make the example. It works in our day-to-day lives. I raise you. It's even how our spiritual battles are fought. How often are churches now isolated and separated? And our excuse for why we allow other churches to be lambasted, assaulted, and defamed, and humiliated by the world is because of the fact that we say, nah, they're not like us. They should have just given them the lunch money. Oh, they didn't have to talk about abortion. Oh, they didn't have to talk about all these things like same-sex marriage and all the other stuff. They didn't have to. They made themselves a target. They made themselves a target. Shouldn't be wearing this, is the excuse, basically. You shouldn't be wearing the image of Christ. However you wish to represent that, you should be wearing the image of Christ that we approved, pre-approved Christ. The pre-approved Christ is accepted. But that Christ that you find in the Bible, that you feel calling you out, that may be different from any other Christian's Christ, that you have to then reconcile with the world and bring out and share and go and reach out to a church so you can make sure you're edified and going the right path, not being a false prophet. All that stuff is just thrown out the window. Not important at all. Not important at all. Because Alexander comes in, and when he comes up and talks to the church, if you're a 501c and you don't give them your lunch money, you will get stopped by the state. That is how they will conquer us. That is how they will try to defeat us. By force. And not even overt force. If the state just went, all Christians, burn your books, now or we throw you in prison, nobody would stand for it. But when they can go after the Westrow Baptist Church, rather than letting us deal with our own churches, which is our responsibility. You think the Westrow Baptist Church is a problem? You ask your pastor to allow the congregation to send believers down there to mission to them, to teach them what Christ did. Did Paul send a Caesar down to Ephesus? No. He never sent a Roman citizen or a pagan priest to edify the church. No politician was sent to edify the church. Why am I so angry? Okay, anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that the church deals with its own issues on its own. You don't let the state deal with it. The minute we let that happen, we let Alexander start taking our lunch money, and it shows. More importantly, it's already been happening for so long. We go to Alexander for the lunch money. Oh, can I keep my lunch money? Oh, and can I get also $2? It's like, here's the lunch money. Can I get $2 back out of it? Yeah, sure. You've been a good church. Here you go. And tell your other buddies I haven't seen them lately. Like, really? Really? Why are we helping them? Why are we helping the state? Oh, because of how the immigration issue is being talked about. The appearance of things. Appearance of things. So yeah. Just watch those little trends.